Teasel's Tudor Trivia.
Hi, welcome to this edition of Teasel's Tudor Trivia with me, Claire Ridgway, and a very tired Teasel the dog. Now, Teasel's got her jumper on today, or sweater, as you say in some countries, as it's a little bit chilly here. Central heating really isn't common in rural Spain where we live, but we actually also live in a house that's over 360 years old, so no radiators or central hot air heating here. Spaniards just tend to heat the room they're in, which is sensible until you need to leave the room to go to the bathroom or to make a drink. We manage though. When we're in the depths of winter, enjoying our log burner, I often think of medieval and Tudor people and what they did to keep warm. And Teasel thought I should share with you what they did to keep warm. Who knows, it might help you. So here are some tips on keeping warm Tudor style. The first one, eat warming, hearty foods. Now, Tudor people would enjoy pottage, which was sort of cooking most of the day. But today we can enjoy soup, casseroles and stews. Yum, I do love stew and dumplings. My slow cooker comes out in the winter and is such a lifesaver. The next tip, make a fire in the middle of your room. Not so practical, but I can understand why medieval people did this. The smoke could escape through a hole in the roof, and with a fire in a fireplace, a lot of the heat would escape up the chimney. Our log burner is set into the fireplace, and we find that most of the heat goes up the chimney and heats the bedroom above, although this is helped by putting a fan on top of it to spread the heat into the room. But the log burner would actually give us much more heat if its pipe wasn't in the chimney, but in the room. So I can see why they would have a fire in the middle of the room. Not very practical though. The next tip is to have animals in your home. Now Teasel likes that tip, don't you? And Teasel actually used to crawl into our bed, but we've put a stop to that. But rural, medieval and Tudor people who kept animals would often live with their animals close by, either in the rooms of the house or in adjoining outbuildings. Their warm breath and warm bodies would definitely add warmth to the home. The lower classes would also all sleep together in the same room. Now, this is humans I'm talking about, if not actually the same bed. So that would add warmth too. Not great for the old love life though. Now, the next tip is layers. Whether that means clothes or bedclothes, layers help to trap the warmth. Tudor clothing had plenty of layers, starting with linen underwear, the shirt or smock, which was easy to wash. Natural fabrics kept you warm in winter and cool in summer. And wool is fantastic for keeping you warm, and the linen undergarments would prevent the wool from making the Tudor person itch. When I watched Tales from the Green Valley about a group of reenactors living like farmers from the early Stuart period, I was surprised at how they could go out on a snowy day to tend to their animals in thick woolen garments but no coats. Although these thick woolen garments could be hard to dry if they got wet, they were really good for keeping them warm. And actually wool is naturally water resistant because of the lanolin in it. They also wore close-fitting caps and mittens made from wool or padded or lined leather. Layers on the bed are also important. A quilt stuffed with wool was great, with blankets, and wealthier people could, of course, afford animal skins and furs to put on their bed. Not politically correct these days. We don't tend to use fur like that. But Tim and I have found that having layers on our bed in winter keeps us much warmer than having one big thick duvet. Sheet, duvet, comforter, blankets equals cosy. And it's easy to adjust when the nights start to get a bit milder or if there's a sudden cold snap. You can just add or take away layers. Then another tip is to use fabric as hangings. Fabrics on the walls, such as tapestries, if you could afford them. Obviously, only wealthy Tudors could afford tapestries, but they helped make the room warmer, as would hangings made from material like velvet hung around the bed. Something like a tester bed or a 4-poster bed with hangings would definitely help keep out the drafts and keep the warmth in. Then there's actually heating the bed itself. A stone or a brick heated on the fire, then placed in the bed a while before bedtime, made the bed nice and cosy when you actually got into it. Today, of course, we have hot water bottles and microwavable wheat bags or electric blankets, which all serve the same purpose. The next tip is to use shutters on your windows. Now, in Tudor times, unless you were rich, you wouldn't have glass in your windows. They'd just be a hole in the wall, and then you'd have shutters to close up. We have pull-down shutters here in our house in Spain, and they definitely help. It's nice to have the windows letting the sun stream in during the day to warm the rooms, and then to pull down the shutters when the sun goes down to keep out any drafts. The final tip is to keep active. Tudor and medieval people of the lower classes would have been very busy people. If you've seen series like Tudor Monastery Farm, you'll know that a housewife's chores were really never done, and her husband would have been busy working on the farm or labouring, etc. Keeping active keeps you warm. It's only when you stop that you really start to feel cold. Now, hopefully, some of these Tudor and medieval tips will help you to keep nice and cosy. But if you want to know more about the layers worn by Tudor people, you can find out in the series that Teasel and I did on Tudor clothes. And I'll share links to those videos in the description. Now, Teasel's thinking that she's really, really cold, aren't you? Are you cold? Yes, should we put up your hood? Yes, will that keep you warmer? What do you think? Nice and cosy. Thank you for joining us today. You can subscribe by clicking around about there. You can hit the bell to be notified as the videos go live. And of course, you can leave a comment and give us a like. Take care. Bye-bye.
Teasel's Tudor Trivia.